Good evening, dear students. Am I audible?
Good
Yes,
evening,
sir.
sir.
Sir. Sir, namaskar.
नमस्कार सर.
Namaskar, namaskar. So very few students have joined. Shall we start or I will wait for 2 3 minutes? सर अब क्लास आरंभ करिया.
सर.
आज्ञा सर.
ओके पिलामाने तो वीडियो ऑन करो तो क्लास टे इंटरैक्टिव लागियो. Isn't it? So if you on our videos and I hope you are I hope that the interaction will be more good, isn't it? And you can also contact. So very few are availing their videos. Okay, fine. So dear students, I welcome you all to the digital platform online class of IGNO on the paper MES-14 Societal Context of Education. Today we will see various perspectives of school, how school is a social system, the organization, and so on. So I'm trying to share the screen. If visible, please tell me.
Yes, sir. Visible ହେଲା.
Okay, tell me. PPT visible हो ना PDF?
Sir, PPT.
Sir, PPT.
Okay, okay, fine. So dear students, today we'll talk about the societal context of education on the basis of how school plays an important role, school organization, structure of school, bureaucratic principles of school, teacher as educational inputs, understanding school community participation. So many things we'll see one by one. I am trying to move First one is we will talk about school as a social system. Slide ଆସୁଛି, next slide ଆସିଲା?
Yes, sir.
ଆଜ୍ଞା
Yes,
ସାର୍।
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So when we talk about school as a social system, so you have experience about school and you have some of you are working in schools. School may be described as a system of positions and roles, isn't it? Because you know so many people are working there, students are studying. So a system is an entity. What is system? पहले हम जान लेते हैं. System is an entity consisting of certain parts which are interrelated and interdependent, whereby a change in one part would bring about a relative change in the other part or the parts. So are structurally related to each other, then a change in one part affects the other. ଗୋଟେ ବିଦ୍ୟାଳୟରେ ଗୋଟେ ମନେକର ଗୋଟେ ସିଷ୍ଟମ ଗୋଟେ ସ୍କୁଲ. If school is a system, the school teachers or students are interrelated and interdependent also. ଯଦି ପିଲାମାନେ ସ୍କୁଲକୁ ନ ଆସି ଆପଣ କାହାକୁ ପାଠ ପଢେଇବେ? ଯଦି ସ୍କୁଲରେ ଟିଚର ମାନ ନ ରହିବେ ପିଲା କଣ ପଢିବେ, କେମିତି ପଢିବେ? So they are the members do both the part. ଯଦି ଗୋଟେ ସ୍କୁଲ ସିଷ୍ଟମ ତାର ଯୋଉ ପାର୍ଟସ ହେଲେ ସ୍କୁଲ ଟିଚର ହୁଅନ୍ତୁ, ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ହୁଅନ୍ତୁ, ନନ୍ ଟିଚିଂ ଷ୍ଟାଫ ହୁଅନ୍ତୁ, isn't it? ସେମାନେ କଲିଂ ବେଲ୍ ସରି ତମ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ମନେକର ପିଅନ କଥା ମୁଁ କହୁଛି, ସେ ଯଦି ଠିକ ସେ ବେଲ୍ ନ ବଜେଇବ, ଟାଇମରେ ବେଲ୍ ନ ବଜେଇବ ତ ପିରିୟଡସ୍ ହ୍ୟାମ୍ପର୍ସ ହବ, ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ମାନେ ସିନସିୟର ହେବେନି। ତେଣୁ ବୋଥ ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ, both are independent, both are interrelated and both are interdependent also. ଗୋଟିଏ ପାର୍ଟର ଇଫେକ୍ଟ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଉପରେ ପଡିବ। ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ଯଦି ଭଲ ରେଜଲ୍ଟ କରିବେ ସ୍କୁଲର ଭଲ ନାଁ ହବ, ଟିଚର ମାନେ ଯଦି ଭଲ ପାଠ ପଢେଇବେ ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ମାନେ ଭଲ ଆଚିଭମେଣ୍ଟ ଆଣିବେ। ସୋ ୱାନ୍ ପାର୍ଟ ଆଫେକ୍ଟସ ଦ ଅଦର। ତେଣୁ ଫଙ୍କସନାଲିଷ୍ଟ ପର୍ସପେକ୍ଟିଭରେ ଆମେ କହିବା ପାଇଁ ଗଲେ ସ୍କୁଲ ଗୋଟିଏ ସବ ସିଷ୍ଟମ ବା ସ୍କୁଲ ସିଷ୍ଟମ। ସେଠି କଣ ହଉଛି, ଏ ସେଟ ଅଫ ଇଣ୍ଟର କନେକ୍ଟେଡ ପାର୍ଟସ with each other, they work together for a whole. ଗୋଟେ ସିଷ୍ଟମ ପାଇଁ, ସ୍କୁଲ ପାଇଁ both teachers, students, non teaching staffs, they all are working together. So in particular they are understood with reference to contribution they make to the system as a whole. ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ ସିଷ୍ଟମ କଣ ବୁଝିଲେ ନା, ସିଷ୍ଟମ is thus any structured or pattern relationship between any number of elements where the system forms a whole or unity. And school ହଉଛି ତାର ପାର୍ଟ ହଉଛି ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ନବା, ସେଥିପାଇଁ ସ୍କୁଲ ଏଜ ଏ system would consist of pattern relationship between its various positions. Headmaster ଅଛନ୍ତି, senior teacher ଅଛନ୍ତି, teacher ଅଛନ୍ତି, clerks ଅଛନ୍ତି, peon ଅଛନ୍ତି, isn't it? There is a pattern of relationship having a part the whole relationship. So the structure of school is the formal arrangement of its parts. The structure of school is the formal arrangement of its parts, that is formal arrangement of the what positions. Therefore we can say that there are social position of students and members of the teaching and non-teaching staff in school. Each of these positions has a role to play. teacher role alaga, non-teaching staff alaga, student role alaga. Thus, there is the role of teacher, that of the student also, that of the headmaster, and so on. So it plays a structure of a system like a school permits us to understand the objective or the goal or the aim of a school or institution. Fine. Then there is a social structure and a functioning of the school. The slide is visible. PPT is visible.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Social structure and functioning of the school, if we talk about, ଜଣେ sociologist ତାଙ୍କ ନାଁ ହେଉଛି ତାଲକଟ ପାର୍ସନ। ବେଳେ ବେଳେ ନେଟରେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ଆସେ, ଏଇ ଯେ ୟାଙ୍କ ନାଁ ତାଲକଟ, TALCOTTPARSON। ତାଲକଟ ପାର୍ସନ କହିଛନ୍ତି, the elementary school is the primary social environment in the latency phase of the child development, and the secondary school serve with the capacity building of adolescent. Secondary school ଆମର କେବେ କେତେରୁ ଆରମ୍ଭ? 9ରୁ 9 10 ଜେନେରାଲ ଆମେ କୁହନ୍ତି କ୍ଲାସ୍ 8 8 9 10 9 10 secondary is 9 10. So just imagine. So the social environment is very beginning from the elementary school, and also school secondary school serve with the capacity building during the adolescent phase. ତେଣୁ ଗୋଟେ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତିର ସୋସିଆଲାଇଜେସନ ପାଇଁ ଏଲିମେଣ୍ଟାରୀ ସ୍କୁଲ ଏବଂ ସେକେଣ୍ଡାରୀ ସ୍କୁଲ ବୋଥ କିଛି ନା କିଛି ଇମ୍ପାକ୍ଟ ପକାନ୍ତି। ତାହେଲେ ଏଲିମେଣ୍ଟାରୀ ସ୍କୁଲରେ କ'ଣ ଥାଇପାରେ? ଏଲିମେଣ୍ଟାରୀ ସ୍କୁଲରେ କ'ଣ ପ୍ରାପ୍ତ ଥାଇପାରେ? ଆଚ୍ଛା, ଆପଣମାନେ କୁହନ୍ତୁ, ଏଲିମେଣ୍ଟାରୀ ସ୍କୁଲରେ କେତେରୁ କେତେ କ୍ଲାସକୁ ଆମେ ଏଲିମେଣ୍ଟାରୀ ସ୍କୁଲ ବୋଲି କହିବା?
Class 1 ରୁ 8.
Very good. So generally we see that class from in Odisha, class 1 to 8, that is elementary school, and in Odisha that is primary schools. So in elementary school, students or peoples of similar age are brought together under one teacher, usually a female teacher. Usually in elementary school, one teacher works with the same group of children for the entire school year. ମୁଁ example ଦଉଛି ଶୁଣ। Usually in an elementary school, one teacher works with the same group of children for entire school year. ମାନେ ସେ ପ୍ରଥମରେ ପଢିଲେ, ଦ୍ୱିତୀୟରେ ପଢିଲେ, ତୃତୀୟରେ ପଢିଲେ, ଚତୁର୍ଥ ପଢିଲେ, ପଞ୍ଚମ ପଢିଲେ, ସପ୍ତମ ପଢିଲେ, ଅଷ୍ଟମ ସରି ଷଷ୍ଠ ସପ୍ତମ, so 7 years the teacher have to deal with the student for 7 years. So in an elementary school, one teacher works with the same group of children for entire school year. ବା ଗୋଟିଏ ବ୍ୟାଚ୍ ହେଲେ ବି ଗୋଟିଏ ବର୍ଷ ସେ ପାଠ ପଢୁଛନ୍ତି ସେଠି। So the elementary grade level, there are several classrooms in most schools at the same grade with multiple teachers, as opposed to a single teacher in the same class. Generally it happens nowadays. what the elementary school is staffed nowadays by females, but an increasing portion of elementary school principals are still men. ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ବି ଆପଣ ଦେଖିବେ ମୁଁ ମେଲ୍ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ନେଗ୍ଲେକ୍ଟ କରୁନି ବଟ୍ I say that female teachers are more affectionate, caring than the male teachers. In elementary level, the students are from the very home, just came from home. Fast se ଘରୁ ଆସିଛନ୍ତି. They need a same empathetic atmosphere, a caring culture, which will helpful for them to be connected with the school. And the women teachers, they play the role more better. And you know that nowadays in elementary schools also you'll find that most of teachers principals are male teachers. Okay, fine. To come to secondary school, ଏଠି କ'ଣ ହଉଛି? Secondary schools are structurally very different from elementary school. ଆପଣମାନେ ସମସ୍ତେ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି. Each child participate in a number of classes and must attempt to adjust a number of teachers of both the sexes, as well as to much larger number of students, and the student is given the opportunity to participate in a wider sense and more complex network of social relationship. So it କ'ଣ ହୁଏ ନା the ପିଲାଟି is supposed to be taught skills. He is supposed to be taught skills and given knowledge that will allow the student to function successfully in several positions, so that hello, am I visible now? Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So actually, I have lost the network connection. So due to the network issues, so it has been affected. Okay, fine. I hope now I am listening. Am I audible to you?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So the child is supposed to be taught skills and given that knowledge that will allow the girl to function successfully in several positions that she will occupy as adult in the society. Then we'll see the Indian system. The Indian system, what happens? What we see? In India, or Indian context, schooling development around individuals who had acquired knowledge through personal efforts or by sitting at the feet of the learned. They were large learned Pandit. I mean, the Guru, the Upanishad, sitting around the Pandit and receiving the knowledge. However, counterpart who has ଇସଲାମିକ ତାକୁ ଆମେ ମଲବି ବୋଲି କୁହନ୍ତି, ଆଉ ହିନ୍ଦୁ ଧର୍ମ ତାକୁ ଆମେ କଣ କୁହନ୍ତି? ପଣ୍ଡିତ। ସେସବୁର ସ୍କୁଲ କ୍ଲାସ କେମିତି ଥିଲା? School class is type of learning situation. It is a method by which school function or organization by grouping their pupils according to various pedagogical principles. ଏ ତାଲକଟ ପାର୍ସନ ଜଣେ ସୋସିଓଲୋଜି ସେ ବି କହିଛନ୍ତି school may be regarded as a focal socializing agency. Remember, Parikha net question as Talcott person says school may be regarded as the focal FOCL socializing agency. Learning or socialization in school was in school class involves a clear distinction between two groups. Con two groups, the people and the professional like teachers, instructors or lecturers who are charged with the responsibility of providing education that is in the prescribed curriculum, isn't it? So what are the functions of school at that time? If we talk about school have to play a very vital role, every assignments given by the pandit, they have to work. So the school has the function to make deliberate attempt to maintain normative and action pattern of society by influencing new entrants. So it has thus has to play the role of a referee in maintaining values while facing the realities of actual behavior. So school as a focal or formal social system has external lesson and internal pattern of conditions that the educational process which has a particular part to play in educational division of labor. So its place in the institutional web affects the status of organization and its members. ତେଣୁ କ'ଣ ହଉଛି ନା society tends to judge schools by the parameters of how its main tasks with their status system. Isn't it? You know that school is a part of a wider organization. And the Department of Education which periodically inspects it. କେତେବେଳେ ଆସନ୍ତି ବ୍ଲକ ଏଜୁକେସନ ଅଫିସର, କେତେବେଳେ ଆସନ୍ତି ଆମର ଆଡିସନାଲ ବ୍ଲକ ଏଜୁକେସନ ଅଫିସର ବିଇଓ, district education officer DEO, isn't it? We have to see. Slide change ହେଲା?
ଆଜ୍ଞା sir।
Okay.
Yes,
Student to
sir।
child relation also important factor. You know that certain formal relationship defined by norms relating to interaction of pupils and teachers. So the school रे teacher student ଭଲ interaction communication relation ଭଲ ନାହିଁ ତାହେଲେ ସେ school ଭଲ school ନାହିଁ. So it will helpful to study the role of informal relationship of a kind that stem from the personality and method of teacher and the social background of the children besides the kind of you may say that linguistic expression. କୋଉ ଭାଷାରେ ସେ କଥାବାର୍ତ୍ତା କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କୁ ତମକୁ ସବୁବେଳେ ଯେ କ୍ଲାସରେ ଇଂଲିଶରେ କଥାବାର୍ତ୍ତା କରିବ, English class always you will ask English in kataharta, everything you will talk. So the emotions of the students they cannot express you always. Then structure and organization of a school. We will see structure and organization of school: simplicity, dynamism, flexibility, stability, clarity about powers and duties, coordination, acceptance of human elements, control. So we'll see that However, defining the characteristics of a school is organization. If we talk about the bureaucratization of school, very important thing, how there is bureaucratization, bureaucratization, bureaucratic রয়েছে bureaucratization of schools. So the bureaucratization of schools results not only from the growing number of students being served by the individual schools, school system, but also from the greater degree of specialization which is required essentially within a technologically বা technological advanced society. ଜଣେ sociologist ତାଙ୍କ ନାଁ ହେଉଛି ୱେବର WER. ସେଇ 5 important basic characteristics of bureaucracy କହିଛନ୍ତି. So whoever's five basic characteristics of bureaucracy are evident in the vast majority of school at all levels, whether primary level ho, ba secondary level ho, or you may say college or university level. These important things are always happening. So what are those? What are the 5 characteristics we will see? The first one is division of labor. Oh, the principles. We have not talked the principles, right? I am talking about the principles. The principles of school organization is there: child-centered principles, community-centered principles, democratic principles, principles of optimum use of available resources, and principles of flexibility. ठीक है कहियो then we will proceed toward the bureaucratic of school. ठीक है skip करिए थी गोटे slide. So when you talk about the child-centered principle, you know that the school will work according to the students' interest, students' need, students' demand. Child is the center of learning, center of education. School process organization will follows that, will adopt the things. Community centered principle, society re, community re jaha demand achi, what kind of opportunities, what kind of need is there, that kind of education will provide, then there will be lack of problems. Problems can be solved, the employment will be possible. Democratic principles. Education system or school should follow the democratic pattern of administration from very beginning. uh, uh, Assessing the learner, admission of the students, admission ru evaluation jaye. Admission, taking care of the learners, assessing the learners, employing the pedagogical principles, methods, and all. Principle of optimum use of available resources. It also talks about school organization kamo that whatever the resources available in your school, human resource ho, materials resource ho, teaching learning material resource ho, everything must have a efficient and best use, or you may say financial resources madhyam, right? So human resources also, human resources as well as you can talk teachers, teaching staffs, non-teaching staffs, and the students. According to the ability, capacity of the individual, the assignments should be given to them that they can perform well. As for the students' demand, also we can do that thing. So principle of flexibility is there. We cannot very in the school we cannot be so hard and strict. Just how the students will face. If we will be very hard and strict, then the school will not move smoothly. For a smooth functioning of a school organization, the principle of flexibility is also important. The next is
Sir,
anything you want to say?
sir, ଟିକେ ଏ ଟପିକ ଟାରେ ଟିକେ ଡାଉଟ ଥିଲା କି
Yes.
ଏ ଟପିକ ଟା ମୁଁ ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି କନଫ୍ୟୁଜ ଥିଲି କି ଏ ଟପିକ ଟା କୋ ବେସିସ ରେ ସର କି ସ୍କୁଲ ଗୋଟେ ଏଜ ଏନ୍ ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜେସନ କି ସ୍କୁଲ କେମିତି ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜ ହଉଛି ସେଇ ଉପରେ ମାନେ
School is
ମୁଁ
an
ପଚାରିବାକୁ
organization.
ଚାହୁଁଛି
School is a social organization. School is a
ଆଚ୍ଛା
social organization. Are you getting me?
ଓକେ ଓକେ ସାର୍
Okay. So
କୋଉ
as
କୋଉ
a school is a
ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପାଲ
social
ବେସିସ ରେ ସ୍କୁଲ କୁ
organization,
ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜେସନ କହିପାରିବା?
exactly. So school is a social organization. School plays several roles,
ଓକେ ସାର୍
several important roles.
ଓକେ
ଆଗରୁ କଣ ହଉଥିଲା ନା ସ୍କୁଲ ସିଷ୍ଟମରେ parents are not welcome to the system. Parents stay away from the school. Now the parents are the part of the school. In the, you know that the SMC and SMDC school management committee and school management development committees are there. Parents have to put their views regarding the uh, students' progress. They have to in the meetings. They have follows the actually teachers are regular or irregular in the classes. They also say this. So school is a social organization plays a very vital role, and certain principles are adopt in societal context of school. So as a school, how the bureaucratization of school is happening. So what are the characteristics, basic characteristics are there? So bureaucratization of school, how it's happening. First one is division of labor, then hierarchy of authority, written rules and regulations are there. There is impersonality, employment based on technical qualifications. So these are very important role. Division of labor is what? Anybody can say? What do you mean by division of labor?
ସେ ସ୍ପେଶିଆଲ କାମ ପାଇଁ କାମ ଡିଭାଇଡ କରିବା କାହା ପାଇଁ କୋଉ କାମ ତାଙ୍କର ଏକ୍ସପର୍ଟିଜ ଅନୁସାରେ ଡିଭାଇଡ କରିବା।
Yes. Well, very good. Anybody else? So division of labor, we can say the sharing the burden of work to teach particular age levels of students and specific subjects. Specialized experts are employed. Science पढ़िया ପାଇଁ science teacher, social science ପାଇଁ social science teacher, math ପାଇଁ math teacher is there. But school non teaching staff ପାଇଁ non teaching official records maintenance ପାଇଁ ତାଙ୍କ କାମ ଅଲଗା. So the instructor teachers are now employed by schools whose sole responsibility is to work with children who have learning disabilities or physical impairments also. Division of labor means sharing the workload among the colleagues, teachers, according to their capacity, their capability, their interest. and their expertise, language skills. So what would happen? Their performance will be better, their skill will be highlighted, and they will be motivated, and the school will function very smoothly. And we'll see the next is the hierarchy of authority. We can say that if we'll talk about school management, school the management, I am चिंता कर how smoothly school is moving. So definitely there will be authority. In case each employee of a school system is responsible to a higher authority. For example, teachers must report to the principals or assistant principals, and may sometimes also have to be also be supervised by departmental heads, isn't it? So the principals are accountable to a superintendent of school. Principal generally is accountable for the superintendent of school. ଯଦି ସ୍କୁଲରେ କିଛି ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ହେଲା କହିବା ୟାର ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପାଲ ସ୍କୁଲ ହେଡମାଷ୍ଟର କିଏ ଅଛନ୍ତି ବା ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପାଲ କିଏ ଅଛନ୍ତି ହେଡମାଷ୍ଟର ବା ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପାଲ ହୁ ଇଜ ଦ ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପାଲ ସୋ ଆଗେ ତାଙ୍କର ଛୁଟି ହେବ ସସ୍ପେଣ୍ଡ ହେବ କି ସେ ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସଫର ହେବେ ଦେନ୍ ଅଦର ଟିଚର୍ସ the principal is accountable to the as a superintendent of school, and the superintendent position hinges on decision making. So the decision taken by the board of the education, or we talk about authorities. Even the students are ranked according to their grade within the clubs and organizations in particular field. So there are also for this there are written rules and regulations. ଗୋଟେ ସ୍କୁଲକୁ ସ୍ମୁଥଲି ମୁଭ୍ କରିବା ପାଇଁ there are certain rules and regulations are there. Without any conformity of numerous rules, we cannot move. So numerous rules and regulations by teachers and administrators in the performance of their duties is one of the defining characteristics of bureaucratization of schools. Written rules and regulations. They have to obey the rules. And impersonality is there. Another thing, impersonality. A class sizes increase at schools or not. A class size increases at school, sizes increase at school. There are many students in a class or many students in your school. So face-to-face interaction decreases generally. ଯେହେତୁ ବହୁତ ପିଲା ଅଛନ୍ତି ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କ ସେମ୍ ଇଣ୍ଟରାକ୍ସନ ହେଇନପାରେ so face-to-face interaction decreases whereby teachers experience difficulty in having personal attention to each students. It happens, but we cannot be personal to a learner that ଏଇ ପିଲା ଆଗ ଧାଡ଼ିରେ ବସୁଛନ୍ତି ୟାଙ୍କୁ ଭଲ ପ୍ରାୟୋରିଟି ଦିଆଯିବ. So giving personal attention to the student is not good. As the teacher, you have to have impartiality. Employment and based on your technical qualification. In Indian perspective, we will see teachers are just only B.Ed, OSTT or CTT, and they're attending a CBT test and getting a job in school. No technical knowledge is, no technical test is given. But in other exams, you will see that there is technical part, computer literacy, technological literacy. I hope in future days when there will be reformation on education system, the technical qualifications will be required. So the teachers are hired on the basis of professional competence and expertise. So written personnel policies dictate promotions. People who excel may be granted lifelong job security, isn't it? So far, the certain characteristics of school as an organization have been stressed, isn't it? जहाँ भी हो, school systems are viewed as belonging to a general class of the bureaucratic organizations. Like industrial film school system also can be differentiated on the basis of size and complexity of organizational structure. For example, ଆମେ ନେଇପାରିବା in small school system, the line of communication between the principal and superintendent is direct and short. ଯୋଉଟା ଆମେ କହୁଛେ centralized system ବହୁତ easily direct short ହଉଛି. But in large one, there is a complex organizational structure immediate between the formal leader of the school, then the entire school, then the system, the formal leader of school, senior teachers. So within the teacher, it's difficult one. Teacher as an educational input. Do you think? Are you agree or not? So every society has its own subsystem, which together have to help to society fulfill its commitments, obligations towards its citizens. So school is a major subsystem of every society. It reflects the ideas of the process of further refining its understanding the process how where we are, isn't it? So now we'll see that
ସାର୍
yes,
ସାର୍ ୟୁନିଟ୍ 8 ଦରକାର ନାହିଁ ସାର୍।
କଣ ହେଲା କୁହନ୍ତୁ ଆଉ yes I just get it.
ୟୁନିଟ୍ 8 ଟା
Unit 8.
ୟୁନିଟ୍ 9 ଟା।
Yes, everything is important for you, but which is most important and the whole syllabus cannot be completed in few minutes. So the
ଓକେ ଓକେ
find chapters which are reflected in your exams as well, important things which has to be covered for your net exams. We are dealing with that facts. ବୁଝିଲ?
ଓକେ ସାର୍।
Okay. Otherwise, within the three, I have only more 3 classes, and we have to complete the whole paper. So ଆପଣ ମାନେ ବର୍ଷ ସାରା ଗୋଟେ କ୍ଲାସ ପେପର ପଢୁଛନ୍ତି କଲେଜରେ ଡିଷ୍ଟାନ୍ସରେ କହିଲେ 6ଟା କ୍ଲାସରେ ସରିବ so it makes a complexity, isn't it?
ଓକେ ସାର୍।
Okay, fine. Chalo. So if we think that we are talking about chapter 4, ଆମେ ଯଦି ଦେଖିବା understanding school as a social cultural process, it is also an important question to ask whether school involves only transformation of selected bodies of knowledge, which is rooted in the social, economic, and political structure of domination or in control in society, isn't it? ମୁଁ ଟିକେ ହାଲକା ଆପଣମାନଙ୍କୁ କହିଦଉଛି ଏ ବିଷୟରେ the role of school in the role of school in the subordination of emotion, so called rationality, leading children to adopt a technological rather than emotional approach to view the social world. And their consequent dehumanization has been pointed out by several thinkers. ଆମର ଜଣେ ଅଛନ୍ତି pedagogists, educationist, ତାଙ୍କ ନାଁ ଅଛି ପଲ୍ ଫ୍ରେୟର, ଇଭେନ୍ ଇଲିଚ୍, ଜନ୍ ହଲ୍ଟ, Jonathan. So many are there talked about the schooling system, but there is a pattern that de-schooling society. It भी uses net question आसे बारंबार आସୁଛି and it also may come. से de-schooling society କାହାର ଲେଖା ନା ଇଭାନ ଇଲିଚ୍ IVANILLICH in 1970 1970 से ଲେଖା ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି in his book de-schooling society. ସେ କଣ କହିଛନ୍ତି that many students, especially those who are poor, intuitively know that the schools do far for them. The school do better. The school do for them. They school them to confuse process substance. The pupil is the student je school to confuse teaching and learning, grade advance with education, a diploma with competence, and fluence with the ability to say something new. So the child's imagination is schooled to the aspect service in the place of value. Not only value, health, learning, dignity, independence, and creative endeavor, these are defined a little more than the performance of institution which claim serve ends. So school को बंद कर दिया, de-schooling, examination pattern ये सब को उठ के डेविएट करे जने कहते. So we can say that sociologists of education have examined schooling from different perspectives, such as how schools socialize in the young into norms, the reproduction of social and economic relation in society, and also how schools respond and produce the distinct social uh, learners, isn't it? And also in say 8 chapter 8 there is structural functionalism. ଆପଣ ମାନେ ତାକୁ ଜାଣିଥିବେ, structural functionalism ତାଲକଟ ପାର୍ସନଙ୍କର the dominant paradigm in sociology education ଆମେ ଯାକୁ କୁହନ୍ତି the structural functionalism which emphasizes institutional form and consensual relationship it is given by Talcott Parson in 1959. So a structural functionalism, this perspective provides a view of society as a system which tending towards equilibrium, balance, performing required function of enculturation within context where the cultural values are consensually shared equally. That's why the functionalist view of school plays an important role in encouraging young into the accepted social norms. That's why social norms has dominant sociological studies of education. आपण माने ताको विस्तार भाବରେ ତାଙ୍କ थियोरी पढ़िले आपण जानि परिबे. Am I audible now? There is a network issues are there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Am I visible and listening? Are you listening me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. Because it says that network is somehow So teacher is an instructional input we are talking about. Why? ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ କିଛି କହିବି ଆଖି ବନ୍ଦ କରିଛନ୍ତି ଆପଣ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଟିଚର ଟିଚର ୱାର୍ଡଟା ଆପଣ ଶୁଣିଲା ମାନେ କଣ ହଉଛି ମନରେ? ଆମ କ୍ଲାସରୁମ୍ ଟିଚର ସବୁ ଆସୁଛନ୍ତି ନା ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି ଆମକୁ ଯିଏ ଆମକୁ ଜିମ୍ ଶିଖେଇଛନ୍ତି ନା ଯିଏ ଆମକୁ ଗେମ୍ ଶିଖେଇଛନ୍ତି କୋଉ ଟିଚର ଆସୁଛି ପ୍ରଥମେ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ମାଇଣ୍ଡକୁ? କ୍ଲାସ ଟିଚର ଆସୁଛି କି?
Class teacher.
Exactly. So the first image that comes to the mind of thinkers of teacher is that the classroom teachers. Essentially, we can say that a teacher is recognized or identified her classroom teaching. ଯଦି ଟିଚର ଭଲ ହବ ସେତେବେଳେ ତାର କ୍ଲାସରୁମ୍ ଟିଚିଂ ଭଲ ଅଛି। So the knowledge is organized form, knowledge in a organized form is imparted to the students in school. Teacher role, the instructional input. Teacher कौन करूची ना गोटे किछि बहुत इनफॉरमेशन से पाठ पढुची, he is what he is doing, collect the knowledge in an organized form and it is imparted to students in schools. So that's why teacher function as an instructional input. So we consider teacher as an instructional input. There is also the presumption that the teacher is in a position to impart knowledge. So this implies that the teacher has a fund of knowledge and considerable experience at level of different from that of students. Student ଠାରୁ ଟିକେ ହାଇ ନଲେଜ ଅଛି ସେ ବିଷୟରେ ସେ ବାବଦରେ ଟିକେ ଜାଣିକି ଆସିଛି ପଢିକି ଆସିଛି ବିଭିନ୍ନ ପ୍ରକାର ଅଧ୍ୟୟନ କରିଛନ୍ତି और एक्सपर्टाइज ଅଛି ସେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷରେ ମ୍ୟାଥ ରେ ବହୁତ ପାଠ ପଢିକି ବହୁତ ଅଧ୍ୟୟନ କରିଛି एक्सपर्टाइज एक स्किल ଅଛି trained how to share the knowledge to students, how to understand the students. So from a today's perspective if you will see, the today's perspective, knowledge is available everywhere. Online में मिलने क्या मुगराटा digital program में मिलूची. So today knowledge is available and accessible to anyone who pursue it. So it means that teacher is no more the only custodian of knowledge. Therefore, in instructional process, teacher is one of the source of knowledge, not the ultimate source. Teacher is the only or is the one of the sources of knowledge. Instruction कौन? As teacher is invariably associated with instruction, so instruction as we know, instruction takes place in a controlled environment. Formal schooling ହେଇଥିବ क्लासरूम थिबो टेबल चेयर बसथिबे छुआ माने टेबल बसथिबे चेयर रे बा बेंच रे बसथिबे सार टेबल चेयर पाखरे बसथिबे बा सामने पाठ पढौथिबे इन ए कंट्रोल्ड एनवायरनमेंट लीडिंग टू स्पेसिफिक लर्निंग आउटकम्स ए क्लास रे मते ए ऑब्जेक्टिव अचीव करिया अछि पिला मानु गति मु जणेबी सो दैट वे इंस्ट्रक्शन based learning is different from learning which is today's, which is a result of interactivity and environment friendly. Informally हम बहुत कुछ लर्न करंती, incidentally हम लर्न करंती, किछि फंक्शन में लर्न करंती, गेम्स रू लर्न करंती. So the pre specified learning outcome is determined or planned by the teacher. जदि हम कहिबा in order to achieve the specified learning outcome, the teacher organizes the learning activities, right? कौन होची? Generally you can say that formulating the instructional objectives, organizing learning experience to achieve the instructional objectives, and judging if the instructional objectives are actually achieved or not. ସତରେ ସେ ସକ୍ସେସ୍ ହେଇଛନ୍ତି ନା ଫେଲ୍ ହେଲେ? So we can say that the teacher organizes the learning experiences. ସମସ୍ତେ ଆମେ କଣ ଯାହା ଆମେ ଏକ୍ସପିରିଏନ୍ସ ଲାଇଫରେ ଗେନ୍ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ସବୁ ଗୁଡା କ୍ଲାସ ମାନ ପିଲାଙ୍କୁ କହୁଛନ୍ତି? ଯେତିକି ଯେତିକି ଏକ୍ସପିରିଏନ୍ସ ପିଲାଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ହେଲ୍ପଫୁଲ ହେଇଥିବ, ପିଲାଙ୍କର ଲେବୁଲକୁ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ୟ କରିକି ପିଲାଙ୍କର ମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ଷ୍ଟେଜ, ଆବିଲିଟି and the experience which can be shared in the classroom and suitable for the content, we share it. For linking the subject, for connecting the subject with their past experience of the learner. So the teacher organizes the learning experience keeping in mind the cognitive part, the affective part, and the psychomotor development of the learner. So the overall development of the pupil is kept in mind while formulating the instructional objectives as well as evaluating the learning outcomes. So evaluation of learning outcomes, it gives a feedback to the teachers. So what actually I have achieved in the class or not. এই ফিডব্যাকটি পিলাକୁ সরি টিচর কোন করে হেল্প করে to rectify herself or himself. So one, the teacher gets feedback on the individual people's learning strength and weaknesses. Another, the feedback helps the teacher to consider different teaching strategies for effective learning. ଆମେ ଯୋଉ ପିଲାଙ୍କ ଠାରୁ ଫିଡବ୍ୟାକଟା ପାଇଲେ କୋଉ ପିଲା କେତେ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରଙ୍ଗ, କାହାର କୋଉଠି ଦୁର୍ବଳତା ଅଛି ତାକୁ ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଫାଇ କରିପାରିଲେ, ଏଜ ୱେଲ ଏଜ ଆମେ ଜାଣିପାରିଲେ ଯେ ଏଇଭଳିଆ ଟିଚିଂରେ ଏତେ ଗଣ ପିଲା ସକ୍ସେସ୍ ହଉଛନ୍ତି, ଏତେ ଗଣ ପିଲା ଫେଲୁଅର ହଉଛନ୍ତି, ଦେନ୍ ୱିଲ୍ ଆଡପ୍ଟ another strategy, another method to that class that students will benefit more and more. So I hope as you will be future teachers, you have to change the system, change the strategy after the feedback session. Fine. Okay. You are doing all evaluations.
Yes, sir.
Understanding community participation. So before understanding the community participation, I want to say teacher not only a instructional input, in somehow teacher तो बहुत काम करुची, evaluation करुची teacher, curriculum transaction करुची teacher, curriculum planning भी करुची teacher. Role of teacher is curriculum planning, curriculum development, preparation of textbook. So many works are these there. So the textbooks are prepared on the basis of a national curriculum framework. There are two state agencies involved in the preparation of textbook, the NCERT, the national level, and state level. लिखिए हमारे क्या है state level? SCRT. Yes. So SCRT इधर केबे ना 19. 1 second. Right. So you have ideas. आपण माने सब नेशनल करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क एनसीएफ 2005 पढिछन्ती?
Yes, sir.
ए न्यू नेशनल करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क की आनिथिला की देइछि की? The new curriculum framework was brought by NCERT. In 2005 NCF National Curriculum Framework. Maybe more emphasis has been placed on incorporating local context, isn't it? So teacher आउर भी रोल अछि आपण मानक बही रे बहुत सुंदर लेखा है आपण माने पढिबे. ଯେ କରିକୁଲମ ଟ୍ରାଞ୍ଜାକ୍ସନ କରିବାରେ, ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କୁ ପାଠ ପଢେଇବାରେ, ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଏକ୍ସପିରିଏନ୍ସ ଗେନ୍ କରିବାରେ, କମ୍ପିଟିସନରେ ପାର୍ଟିସିପେଟ୍ କରିବାରେ, isn't it? Whole syllabus is syllabus and textbook determine not only what the teacher to taught. ଆମେ ଯୋଉ କୁହନ୍ତି syllabus textbook ର କାମ କଣ, ଯେ କରିକୁଲମ ଟ୍ରାଞ୍ଜାକ୍ସନ ପାର୍ଟରେ ତ syllabus ହଉ ବା textbook ସେଇଟା ସେଇଟା ଯୋଉ ଫିକ୍ସ କରାହେଇଛି not only what that teacher have to taught, also the time within which the teaching has to be completed. This means that the teacher could no longer pace in his pedagogy to suit his pupils. Syllabus ଯଦି ସରିବନି ପାଠ ପଢାବା ଏମିତି ହବ କି? So like that. So we'll see now. Teacher ଟିକେ କହୁଛେ teacher is a mentor, isn't it? ଆମେ good teacher କହିବା. While a good teacher knows all about the best teaching learning strategy. Good teacher କିଏ? The teacher knows all about the best learning strategies which will be fruitful for their students. A good mentor knows how to help students to set their goals and achieve them. Teacher तो जानला जे बेस्ट टीचिंग लर्निंग स्ट्रेटजी कौन अच्छी. टीचर मेंटर कहीं हम ना मेंटर काम होया हाउ टू हेल्प द स्टूडेंट्स मेंटरिंग करवा. मु टीचर माने मु आउ किछि करिविनी. नो, टीचर होची करिकुलम ट्रांजैक्शन करिवो, इवैल्यूएशन करिवो. टीचर आल्सो ए मेंटर. So teacher, as a teacher, good teacher, mastery over the teaching learning materials, teaching learning strategy, concept बुझिला, and as a mentor knows how to help students to set their goals. पिला माने तांको जीवनर लक्ष्य केमिति निर्धारण करिवे, तांको जीवनर उद्देश्य केमिति पहुंचिबे, ताकू सहायता करिवार मुख्य भूमिका शिक्षक थाए. से जे मेंटर तांको मेंटरिंग करिवो, असिस्ट करिवो, हेल्प करिवो, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करिवो. So mentoring provides supportive environment to the student to pursue their goals. ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କୁ ଜୀବନ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ୟ ସ୍ଥଳରେ ପହଞ୍ଚିବା ପାଇଁ ଟିଚର ମେଣ୍ଟର ଭାବରେ କାମ କରିବା ନିହାତି ଦରକାର. ଗୋଟେ ପଜିଟିଭ ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂ ଏନଭାୟରନମେଣ୍ଟ, ଗୋଟେ କଣ୍ଡୁସିଭ ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂ ଏନଭାୟରନମେଣ୍ଟ, ଗୋଟେ ସପୋର୍ଟିଭ ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂ ଏନଭାୟରନମେଣ୍ଟ should be provided. So the teacher as a mentor help their people to build on their strength and give them moral support and emotional support. For what purpose? ना पिलारो weakness आउ failure को reduce करिया पाए, पिला को strong करिया पाए. कारण कौन ना पिला माने विभिन्न प्रकार कल्चरल बैकग्राउंड रु आसुचंती, सोशियो इकोनॉमिकली बैकग्राउंड रु आसुचंती. डाइवर्सिफाइड क्लासरूम आमे जानि चंती. समस्त पाखर समान कैपेसिटी न थाए, समस्त पाखर समान कैलिबर न थाए. So we have to understand this thing as a teacher as well as a mentor. So teacher kali teacher no, teacher as a mentor also. So mentoring is not an organized activity in the school. Teacher gote organized activity school रो न हो कौन सेटा ना, it is different from guidance and counseling which is an organized activity. गाइडेंस काउंसलिंग होची ऑर्गेनाइज्ड एक्टिविटी. पिला हॉस्पिटल को गाइडेंस कराओ, काउंसलिंग कराओ. मेंटरिंग इज द हेल्पिंग थिंग. So guidance and counseling are done systematically sessions, but mentoring there is no systematic approach. As teacher or mentor adopts mentoring, it is an ongoing process. पिलार कोठी प्रूव हैला, कोठी थकी पड़ला, कोठी पढ़ी पार बुझी पारलानी, ताको मॉनिटरिंग करिबा. मेंटर रो काम होचे ऑलवेज मॉनिटरिंग द लर्नर. मेंटर हैव an inquiring and a pleasant disposition that makes the approachable to students. ଯଦି ଇନକ୍ୱାରିଂ ଆଟିଟ୍ୟୁଡ ନ ହବ ଟିଚର, ପିଲାର କ'ଣ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ରହୁଛି, କୋଉଠି ଇସ୍ୟୁଜ ରହିଛି, ତାହେଲେ ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟର ଡିଫିକଲ୍ଟି ସେ ବୁଝିପାରିବନି ଆଉ ଦ ପ୍ରପର ଜଜମେଣ୍ଟ ଦେଇପାରିବନି। ସୋ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ସ ହ୍ୱାଇ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ହିଜ ଏ ମେଣ୍ଟର। Then understanding community participation. What is community? Community कौन? Anything comes to your mind? There are so many easy things I am skipping. Yeah? Okay. So easy things, it will uh, retrieve all the things. So important points may be left.
People with a common interest or with a common goal, group of people
Okay.
that
Very good.
share the same interest or have a common goal.
Very good. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, leave it. चलो आमे जानिछंती जे एजुकेशन गोटे शिक्षा गोटे सामाजिक प्रक्रिया, इज ए सोशल प्रोसेस. So the participation of a community or a social group in the education process is precondition. So the idea of community participation in education is not new to the Indian society. Since the very early days, schools in the forms of pathashalas and madrasas emerged as a community institutions. Aguru ta na thila community institutions. So the society transmitted its knowledge and skills through these institutions. Society the knowledge ताको transmit करा जाए, transmitted its knowledge through these skills, knowledge and skills through these institutions. Okay. If we define what actually community is, आमे community भिन्न प्रकार भाବରେ यूज करि पर various ways. The term community has been used in various ways with a lot of arbitrariness. They used it to denote your group of people. तुम जहाँ कहियो, thank you very much. So we can say they use it to denote a group of people. And generally कौन कहती ना a group of people occupying a geographical area, or but not the social group can be termed as community. But actually, when individuals live together in a common territory, have the feeling of mutuality, develop organized interaction among the them, it is called the community spirit. Right? The community spirit. When individuals live together in a common territory, having the feeling of mutuality, develop organized interaction among them, it is called community spirit. A the community is a social group which is characterized by community spirit. So the community is a social group which is characterized by the community spirit. And community spirit, you got it? Is a community example कौन? community spirit ଆମେ କହିଲେ village town city etc. So the community therefore ଆମେ କଣ ବୁଝିବା, it is an expression of the unity of common life of a group of people. In other words, we can say the life of member of a community is wholly lived in it, and there is a very little they need to share with outside. So, in simply, community is an expression of the unity of common life of a group of people. Some sociologists have defined in different forms, different ways what actually community. Then we'll talk about community participation. Like community, the term participation is also used in different ways. Okay, in simple term, we can say that by participation we mean what? We mean taking part or being involved of people in any activity, any meaningful activity, any work, any competition, any program. So the participation should be viewed as a context specific expression based on the degree of involvement of people. The degree of involvement of people, that is participation, or to bring certain changes with the basic objectives of involvement of the people. So UN, United Nations, described the community participation as the creation of opportunities to enable the members of a community and the larger society to actively contribute and influence the development process to share equitably in the fruits of development. Okay, that is, the community participation. So, from the above, what we got? Diversity in the concept and practice of community participation may be known in different forms. So, a community is a group of people who share something in common. You can define a community by the standard attributes of people, that is, or by the strength and of the connections among them. You need to bunch of people who are alike in some way, who feel some sense of belonging or interpersonal connection. According to sociologists, whenever the members of any group, small or large, live together in such a way that they are the basic conditions of a common life, we call that group a community. Thus, a community refers to a group of individuals living in a geographical area. And just we are talking about the community participation. Community can be passive, community can be active, community can be legislated or self-mobilized. Community participation by. Hmm, okay. Communication can be both passive and active. In passive participation, people participate by seeing told what is going on to happen or already happened. For example, participation may be used to explain very rudimentary levels, very basic levels of consultation between agency staff and the community members, isn't it? So, in Active forum people participate by forming groups to meet predetermined objectives which are related to their projects, which can involve the development of or promotion of external initiative or social organization through proper planning, decision making, execution of various activities. And we can say participation can be legislated or self mobilized. Participation by providing information or material contribution. Now we'll see the policy framework for community participation in education. Is there any policy formation? ଆମେ ଯୋଉ କାଲି କଥା ହଉଥିଲେ 76 amendment act 86 amendment act ଆମର 73rd ଆଉ 74th constitutional amendment act, it has been envisaged that the introduction of democratically elected bodies at the district level, sub district and panchayat level. ସେଇ the act ଅଛି, the act କଣ provide କରୁଛି? Adequate representation of women, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. ସେଇ ଯୋଉ schedule ଅଛି 11th schedule of the constitution, ଆମ constitution 11th schedule constitution among other things entrust the panchayat bodies with the responsibility of looking after education including primary and secondary school, technical training and vocational education. Also adult and non-formal education also highlighted there. So ଆମେ ସେଇ ଆଉଥରେ ସେଠିକି ଯିବା ତ National Policy on Education NPE 1986 and the Program of Action POA revised in 1992, they've emphasized the importance of decentralizing planning and management of education at all levels. And the peoples generally participate in the education. Participation of people happens. ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆସିଲା ନୂଆ POA program of action ଆସିଗଲା, ଯେତେବେଳେ the state government have taken steps set up to structure of decentralized planning management କେମିତି ହବ properly ସେ ବିଷୟରେ ଚିନ୍ତା କରାଗଲା. So it is expected that as part of decentralization, local communities through appropriate bodies would get involved in the school functions. ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ କମିଟି ତିଆରି କରାହବ ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ ପଞ୍ଚାୟତରେ, ତା ନାଁ ହବ କଣ? ଭିଲେଜ ଏଜୁକେସନ କମିଟି VEC. এটা କାହାର ଭିଉ ଆଜ୍ଞା? এটা ହଉଛି 1992 ରିଭାଇଜଡ ପଲିସି ଆସିଲା ନ୍ୟାସନାଲ ପଲିସି ଅନ ଏଜୁକେସନ, ସେଇଥିରେ ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି the formation of village education committee VEC and various other participatory structures and their involvement in education is a result of the what constitutional commitment and policy recommendations, right? ତାପରେ ଆସିଲା relationship between panchayat raj institution and community structures. ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମର the constitution 73rd and 74th amendment act 1992 has accorded statutory status, so the local government known as panchayat raj system, local self government known as panchayat raj system, and has entrusted with several tasks of looking what, again I am telling, primary education and secondary education. Panchayat Raj Institution, PRI, Panchayat Raj Institutions. So the say somewhere what a body another committee ହେଲା CABE, on decentralized management of education, suggested constitution of village education committee VEC at the village level and Panchayat standing committee on education at intermediate and district level. So community structure education टिके चेंज हला धीरे धीरे कौन हला ना विलेज एजुकेशन कमिटी VEC हला स्कूल मैनेजमेंट कमिटी SMC मदर टीचर एसोसिएशन MTA पेरेंट टीचर एसोसिएशन PTA मदर एसोसिएशन वुमेन मोटिवेटर WMG फॉर द अदर स्टैंडिंग कमिटी सब धीरे धीरे फंक्शन करिया को लागिला तापर हमर आसिला विलेज एजुकेशन कमिटी VEC एंड PTA बेसी रोल प्ले कले इंपोर्टेंट रोल प्ले कले CAB है सेंट्रल एडवाइजरी बोर्ड ऑफ एजुकेशन कमिटी ऑन रिसर्च एंड मैनेजमेंट ऑफ एजुकेशन सजेस्टेड इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ विलेज एजुकेशन कमिटी VEC at village level and Panchayat Raj standing committee on education at intermediate and district levels. Then we see village education committee VEC and parent teacher association PTA. Okay, fine. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ କହିଲେ ଯେ ଭିଲେଜ ଏଜୁକେସନ କମିଟି ଆଉ ପ୍ୟାରେଣ୍ଟ ଟିଚର ଆସୋସିଏସନ ଏ ଜିନିଷଟା କଣ ଭିଲେଜ ଏଜୁକେସନ କମିଟି ଇଜ ଏ ଭିଲେଜ ହାବିଟେସନ ଲେବୁଲ ବଡି ବା ଭିଲେଜ ଲେବୁଲ ବଡି ଗୋଟେ ସେଟଅପ୍ ହେଇଛି ତା ଦ୍ୱାରା ଥ୍ରୁ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ଅର୍ଡର ଦ୍ୱାରା କଣ ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସିବିଲିଟି ରହିଛି with the responsibilities of administering educational programs and looking after of school or other educational institutions at the village level. Other माने स्कूल तो रहला आउ कोन ना यंग मानकर यूथ क्लब बा adult education centers ताको मध्य से देखाशुना करिवार थिला सो द कमिटी यूजुअली हैव एवरेज 10 टू 10 रु 15 मेंबर रहिबे विथ रिप्रेजेंटेशन फ्रॉम द वुमेन जने रहिबे से वुमेन ने कोन जने SC ST हेतिबे जने SC हेतिबे जने ST हेतिबे एंड इलेक्टेड पंचायत मेंबर्स हेड आउ हेड टीचर एंड अदर्स ए स्कूल so the nature of the composition of state varies state to state vary करे से जो कथा लेखा है कोठी हमर कंसीडर करा है सब कमिटी अंडर पंचायत सिस्टम जोटा हमर सेंट्रल एडवाइजरी बोर्ड ऑफ एजुकेशन कमिटी CAB committee highlighted some of the functions of VEC as follow one will discuss कौन से बड़ा ना generation and sustenance of awareness among the village community ensuring participation of all segments of population from women group, men, SC, ST, OBC, general, disadvantaged, blind, everybody, irrespective of discriminations. Developing teacher and a community partnership to oversee and manage the effectiveness and regular functioning of school and centers. କେବଳ ଯେ ସ୍କୁଲ ଫଙ୍କସନ ମୋ ପାଇଁ ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସିବୁଲ ଟିଚର ନୁହଁ, କମ୍ୟୁନିଟି ମେମ୍ବର ମାନେ ମଧ୍ୟ ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସିବୁଲ ହେବା ଦରକାର, ସୋସାଇଟି ବି ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସିବୁଲ ହେବା ଦରକାର, ପ୍ୟାରେଣ୍ଟସ୍ ମାନେ ବି ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସିବୁଲ ହେବା ଦରକାର। So they have vesting with appropriate statutory or financial authority। ଯେମିତି କିଛି ଆମର ସେଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଲ ସ୍ପନ୍ସର୍ଡ ସ୍କିମ୍ ଆସିଲା ସେତେବେଳେ କଣ ଡିପିପି ଡିଷ୍ଟ୍ରିକ୍ଟ ପ୍ରାଇମେରୀ ଏଜୁକେସନ ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରାମ ଆଉ ସର୍ବଶିକ୍ଷା ଅଭିଯାନ, they are playing greater role, they have specific roles in function of other sort of greater involvement in planning and implementation of those program। say जो some of the functions currently now also performing by the VC and SSA। ଏବେ ତ SSA ଗଲାଣି, SSA included in the teacher education ନା technical education। ସମଗ୍ର ଶିକ୍ଷା ଅଭିଯାନ ଆସିଗଲାଣି, ସମଗ୍ର ଶିକ୍ଷା ଅଭିଯାନ ସର୍ବଶିକ୍ଷା ଅଭିଯାନ, now it on the new, that is ସମଗ୍ର ଶିକ୍ଷା ଅଭିଯାନ। So ensuring enrollment of all children in the group of 6 to 14, जोटा ଆମର ଥିଲା କଣ ନା elementary education ନା target, universalization of elementary education 6 ରୁ 14 ବର୍ଷ ଭିତରେ। Monitoring school activities for retention and providing good quality education, paying special attention to the educational need of the girl child and other disadvantaged groups, to improve facilities in the school, that is compound wall, new classroom, toilet separate for girl and boys facilities, maintenance and repair as a whole, and to involve community with the school in different works, different programs, different competitions, or any uh, programs, observations, festivals in school. But the function of EG, you got it. What are the functions of VC? Generation and substance of awareness among the village community, ensuring participation of all segments of public population, developing teacher instruction and community partnership to oversee and manage the effective and regular monitoring of school centers, and vesting in with appropriate statutory and financial authority. So what are the problems and issues are there? What are happening actually? Problems and issues there आपण माने जानिथिबे जे population census study report अनुसारे there is problems community mobilization, community participation and community empowerment, these are major problem। community participation in education is important। So one problem we'll see community mobilization and participation, one by one we'll talk। In order to develop or bring progress and provide environmental building activities, initiatives such as school रे कौन होची community mobilization and participation, केमिति community रो मेंबर माने आसिकी स्कूल रे पार्टिसिपेट करिवे, आसीबे स्कूल को कौन कले आपण माने कहले देखि स्कूल रे कौन हेले कम्युनिटी रो लोक माने आसीबे कोन आपण माने anybody please।
Sir, meeting.
ओके मीटिंग सो हमें समस्त आसीबेनी
annual function.
PTM,
ओके annual फंक्शन कले आसीबे निमंत्रण देखिया फंक्शन को देखिया पे आसीबे आउ कोन कले
सर किछि जदि विलेज लोक माने आसंते जेतळे फ्री रे किछि मिले स्कूल रो पिला मानंकु किछि मिले सेतळे से माने बहुत मात्रा आसंते
पिला माने एतबळे
सर मूल कथा होला जेतेବେଳେ एमडीएम रो पैसा मिलुथला सेतेବେଳେ जो कोविड टाइम रे एमडीएम रो पैसा मिलुथला सेतेବେଳେ गार्डियन आस्थिले ड्रेस मिलला दिन गार्डियन आसीबे खालीटारे मीटिंग कले केबे आसीबेनी मीटिंग डाकिले केबे आसीबेनी पिलांकु जोटा मिलिवार थिवो से आसीबे से टाइम
अच्छा ଆପଣ ମାନେ ବହୁତ ଭଲ କଥା କହିଛନ୍ତି ତଥାପି ମୁଁ ମୋର ଏକ୍ସପିରିଏନ୍ସ ସେୟାର କରୁଛି ଯେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ସ୍କୁଲରେ କୌଣସି ପ୍ରକାର ଆକ୍ଟିଭିଟି ହୁଏ ସ୍କୁଲରେ କିଛି ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରାମ ହୁଏ ସେତେବେଳେ ଟିକେ କମ୍ୟୁନିଟି ଲୋକଙ୍କର ଦେଖା ମିଳେ ସ୍କୁଲରେ କୌଣସି ଫଙ୍କସନ୍ସ ହଉ ଆପଣମାନେ ଠିକ କହିଛନ୍ତି ସ୍କୁଲରେ କୌଣସି ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରାମସ ହଉ ପୂଜା ହଉ ଫେଷ୍ଟିଭାଲ ହଉ ଆନୁଆଲ ଫଙ୍କସନ ହଉ କମ୍ପିଟିସନ୍ସ ହଉ ସ୍ପୋର୍ଟସ ହଉ ସେଇ ସମୟରେ ଆମେ କିଛି ଇନଭାଇଟ୍ କରନ୍ତି ଆଉ କିଛି ଅଟୋମେଟିକ ଆସନ୍ତି କିନ୍ତୁ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ କହୁଛି ଆପଣ ଯଦି ସ୍କୁଲରେ ଯାତ୍ରା କରିବେ ପିଲାଙ୍କୁ ନେଇକି ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସ କମ୍ପିଟିସନଟେ କରିବେ କଳା ଯାତ୍ରା କହିବା କଳା ଯାତ୍ରା ମିନ୍ସ ପିଲା ପାଖରେ କ'ଣ କ୍ୱାଲିଟି ଅଛି ତାକୁ ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରାମ ସେ ପରଫର୍ମାନ୍ସ ଦେଖେଇବେ ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସ କମ୍ପିଟିସନ ବା ଗୋଟେ ସଙ୍ଗ କମ୍ପିଟିସନ ହେଲେ ଆସିବେନି ପିଲା କମ୍ୟୁନିଟି ଲୋକ ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟାବେଳେ ଆପଣ ମାନେ ଟିକେ ଡିଜେ ବଜାଇ ଦେବେ ଆସିବେନି ସେମାନେ ଆସିବେ କି ନାହିଁ they will be motivated so we should go to the school what the duty of the school is environmental ଏମିତି ଆମେ କରିବା ବିଲ୍ଡିଂ ଆକ୍ଟିଭିଟିଜ କ'ଣ କଳା ଯାତ୍ରା କରିପାରନ୍ତି ନୁକଡ଼ ନାଟକ ଛୋଟିଆ ଛୋଟ ନାଟକ କରିକି ଲୋକମାନଙ୍କୁ ଶିକ୍ଷା ଦଉଛନ୍ତି ଯେ କ'ଣ କଲେ ଡେଙ୍ଗୁ ହବ ଡେଙ୍ଗୁ ହବନି ଆମେ ମାନେ ଯଦି ନାଟକ କରି ଲୋକମାନଙ୍କୁ ଶିଖେଇବା ଲୋକମାନେ ସଚେତନ ହେଇଯିବେ କି ନାହିଁ ମଶାରୀ ଟାଙ୍ଗି ଶୋଇବା ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କ ଯୋଉ ଛୋଟିଆ ଗୋଟେ ନାଟକ କରିବା ଲୋକମାନେ ନାଟକ ଦେଖିଲେ ଶିକ୍ଷା ହିଁ ପାଇଲେ ଆଉ ଛୋଟିଆ ଯାତ୍ରା ଯୋଉ ବାଲ ମେଲା ପିଲାମାନେ ଛୋଟ ଛୋଟ ଜିନିଷ ତିଆରି କରୁଛନ୍ତି ହାତରେ ତାଙ୍କର କ'ଣ ବନେଇକି ସବୁ ରଖିଛନ୍ତି ଛୋଟିଆ ମେଳାଟେ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ସେ ମେଳାରେ ସବୁ ସମସ୍ତେ ବୁଲିବା ପାଇଁ ଆସୁଛନ୍ତି ଦେଖିବା ପାଇଁ ଆସୁଛନ୍ତି ସାଇନ୍ସ ଏକ୍ଜିବିସନ୍ସ କଲେ ଆପଣ ଇନଭାଇଟ୍ କଲେ ଲୋକମାନଙ୍କୁ ପିଲାମାନେ ବହୁତ ସୁନ୍ଦର ସୁନ୍ଦର ଚିତ୍ର କରିଛନ୍ତି ବା କିଛି ସାଇନ୍ସର ଆକ୍ଟିଭିଟି କରିଛନ୍ତି ଆପଣମାନେ ଇନଭାଇଟ୍ ଦେଖି ଯାଆନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ପିଲାମାନେ ବହୁତ ଭଲ କାମ କରିଛନ୍ତି ସୋ ଦେ ୱିଲ୍ ମୋଟିଭେଟେଡ୍
ସେମାନେ ମୋଟିଭେଟ ହୁଅନ୍ତି କିନ୍ତୁ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ଅଛି କି ସେମାନେ ଆକ୍ଟିଭିଟିଜ ରେ ସେତେ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟେଡ ହୁଅନ୍ତିନି ସେତେ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ସେମାନଙ୍କର କିଛି କାମ ନାହିଁ ଯେମିତି କି ରୁଆ ରୁଇ ଅଛି ଭିଲେଜ ରେ ସେମାନଙ୍କର ରୁଆ ରୁଇ କିଛି ଅଛି ୟା ତ ଫାର୍ମିଂ ସେମାନଙ୍କର କିଛି କାମ ମାନେ ସେମାନେ ଗୀତ ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟେଡ ହୁଅନ୍ତିନି ବଟ୍ ସେମାନଙ୍କର ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟ ଯଦି କିଛି ଜିନିଷ ଅଛି ସେମାନେ ଅଧିକ ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟରେ ଆସନ୍ତି
Exactly. You are telling the very practical thing, right? Okay. Are you a teacher?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, fine. So you have experience on that. I got it. Fine.
Yes.
So you are very right, madam, Ankita madam. So this
Thank you, sir.
activities can be done to invite the people to attract the community members for community mobilization and participation. हमें community को invite कले, ସେମାନେ ଆସିଲେ, ସେମାନଙ୍କର awareness ଆସିଲା, they are mobilized and their participation also increased. Fine. Next another ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ difficult ଜିନିଷ ଯୋଉଟା କି ବହୁତ କମ ହଉନି community mobilization ହଉନି କି their participation involvement ବହୁତ କମି ଯାଉଛି. Isn't it? So they are not interested self to the school or visiting what the system what teachers who are the teachers of my student of my child so they are not taking interest ei jo community mobilization participation level बढ़िले निश्चित हमर शिक्षा अवस्थार उन्नति आसीबो these are very important problem very another is community participation and empowerment also So if you analyze the community participation in educational perspective, it will remain incomplete. Hmm. If you do not release it to the question of community empowerment, so does community participation will happen? So ensure community empowerment. Community को हम empower का दरकार. So will the empowerment of local political bodies ensure the genuine representation of traditionally exploited community? এই ବର୍ଷରେ କଣ ହଉଛି? ଆପଣ ଜଣେ କହିଲା ତାଙ୍କର ବିନା ସ୍ୱାର୍ଥରେ ସେ ଆସୁନାହାନ୍ତି ସ୍କୁଲକୁ। ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ କଣ ହେଇଛି ନା କମ୍ୟୁନିଟିର there is the shift in the debate of community involvement in the education from participation to empowerment. Some are in participating but not empowerment होता ताଙ୍କର। So empowerment job also important. Women empowerment ଆପଣ ଜାଣିଥିବେ ସେମାନେ community empowerment. So mere participation does not necessarily lead to community empowerment. ସେମାନେ ଆସି participation କଲେ ଆସି ଗୀତ ଶୁଣିକି ଗାନା ଶୁଣିକି ଖାଇ ପିଇକି ଭୋଜି ଗଲେ ୟାଙ୍କର empowerment ହବନି। Community empowerment ନହେଲେ community society ର progress ହବନି, education standard ଆସିବନି। It is also argued that community participation is a means of community empowerment. A first step. That is when people are instructed with roles and responsibilities with community structure. ଆପଣ ମାନେ ଆସିଛନ୍ତି କମ୍ୟୁନିଟି ମିଟିଂ କୁ ଏଇ ଛୋଟିଆ କାମଟା କରିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ। ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କୁ ଲାଇନରେ ବସାନ୍ତୁ। ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ ଶାନ୍ତି ଶୃଙ୍ଖଳା ରକ୍ଷା କରନ୍ତୁ। ଯୋଉ ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କୁ ଶୋଷ ଲାଗୁଛି ଗୋଟେ ପାଣି ପ୍ରଦାନ କରନ୍ତୁ। But some amount of work is assigned to them. When the people or community members are instructed with some roles and responsibility with participatory structure, then it assumes that such participation will become means of empowerment. So जो पंचायत राज इंस्टीट्यूशन तैयारी कराई the PRI could be viewed as a mechanism for promoting such involvement of people with community interest. School कौन बुली बुली सब काम करी परियो? Isn't it? Fine. Next is community decentralization and community participation. Decentralization, division of work. Everybody is responsible. Everybody is responsible for the development of progress. So decentralization of educational governance is one of the major strategy for including greater community involvement in education. So ଆପଣ ଯୋଉ ଦେଖିଛନ୍ତି amendment act ଅଛି 73rd and 74th amendment act of Indian constitution जो the panchayat raj institutions have been entrusted with the responsibility of implementing compulsory and free elementary education. So panchayat system therefore is the main framework through which the decentralization of educational governance is currently being pursued. So question mathara ase comes whether simply handling of over basic education panchayat body will ensure popular participation ହେଇ ପାରିବ କି? କିନ୍ତୁ କେରଳରେ ହେଇପାରିଛି। The Kerala experience which involved a greater effort of panchayat system, isn't it? So we can say that a community participation in education has a close linkage with decentralization. As so far, most of the participation discourse currently center around it. And it is often contended that community participation and empowerment will emerge from decentralization of educational governance. If work distribution is there, everybody is responsible, then participation will be there, and empowerment will be there. Assignment କଲେ ଆପଣ ସିନା କାମ କଲେ ଆପଣ ସ୍କିଲ୍ଡ ହେବେ, ଆପଣ ଯଦି କାମ ନ କରିବେ, କିଛି ୱାର୍କ ନାହିଁ, କିଛି ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ ନାହିଁ, you will not improve. In a school, if some assignment is given to you, as a teacher you are working harder and harder, that means your skill is developing. If you are not doing anything, your skill will not improve, you will not be a smart person, like that. So decentralized can be happened through the community participation, and empowerment will emerge from decentralization of educational governance. So the most of the decentralization measures which have been implemented are in the category of delegation or decentralization of the role and responsibilities. Power, power no decentralization, isn't it? So we can say that the participatory or the main objective of participatory development is to increase the involvement of socially and economically marginalized people in making good decisions regarding the people's life. So the assumption is that participatory approach empowers the people with the skills and the confidence to find out their situation, reach the problem, solve the problem, take the decisions, do the actions, and to improve their level, their confidence, their circumstances. That's why we can say that the community participation in education is nowadays also intended to focus on the needy people, those who are needy and disadvantaged nowadays is the demand. Okay, thank you. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the topic we discussed is as if you will study it as like a teacher's perspective, as a community member's perspective, and as a student's perspective, you will analyze it in three different forms. So have a look on these chapters like socialization. Okay, any anything come to your mind? Anything, any suggestions to me, or any questions? Okay. So thank you, dear students. I know this chapter may be somehow, somehow not some amount of not difficulty, but amount of hard, because you have to realize certain things here. Very practical things are there. Okay, it's not difficult; it's easy. So thank you, dear students, for attending the third class, and in next we'll discuss another chapter. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. So we shall leave now. ଅଜୟ ସାର୍ ଆମେ ଏବେ ଲିଭ୍ କରିବା ଗ୍ରୁପ। Okay. So thank you, dear students, for joining. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
हेलो
हेलो
हाँ नलिनी देवी वुमेन्स कॉलेज जो किछि ग्रुप हेछि कि
हाँ मोटा भी सेटा नलिनी देवी वुमेन्स कॉलेज सेटा अछि
फोन करथिला
हाँ
सेटा टिके
हाँ
ऐड
से
कर देबे मो नंबर टा
निश्चय ई वर्षाटा दिन सारा
जे ग्रुप रे ऐड करिवो बोली कहउतले से बोधे कटि गलानी
से एडमिन नाइन
लेफ्ट
में लागु छी हां लेफ्ट मार देली हम लड़
रहा कॉल लगे तो किनी
हो काली के देखो
घर के रही पारबो ना